magic. Is there really some great, mysterious power that you can harness and utilize for your own means? And if so, then what exactly is it? And how could it possibly work? Now, these are some of the things I want to look into today. So let's first understand what we mean by the term magic. And we may define magic as the ability to interact with the supernatural to create changes in the physical world. And this concept of magic goes right back to the earliest days of mankind. And you see, man had always had problems. No, problems are not a new concept. Man always had problems he had to solve. He needed to feed himself, for one thing. And so we see evidence of rituals where man is attempting to use sympathetic magic to help them with the hunt. But as time goes on, we can see that magic becomes more about power and having the ability to control your environment gives you power. Sometimes, though, it's not power in a sinister way. Sometimes people just feel the need to have some control over their lives, and especially in the modern world, it's just so easy to feel helpless when there's so many other people that seem to have you under their control. There's your employers, then there's the bankers and the politicians and the lawyers. And sometimes you just feel that you need to be able to take things into your own hands. And so today, this seems to be the primary purpose for magic. The ability to have some power and control over your environment. So, if it's that special, can we control the world with magic? Well, honestly, it's not quite that simple, although I do think there are one or two that have tried. So the question arises now, is there any real concept of such a thing? Can such a thing exist? And if such a thing does exist, is there any logic or rationality behind this to tell us how this may possibly work? The answer to that is both yes and no. The answer is no. If you don't understand the concepts and what you're doing, then a ritual is just simply a ritual. But if you understand what's going on here, then the answer is a big, resounding yes, it can. Magic all starts with the mind, and it's the mind that navigates your way through this great sea of possible events that determines the direction you take in life. You see, magic all starts with the mind, and I hate the word magic. It just conjures up visions of men with top hats and white rabbits, and well, I'm just not that comfortable with that. So from here on, I'll just refer to it as the art, because it's the art of using our mind to create physical changes in our world. Now, there are two ways in which this power can manifest itself into our world. Now, one is a very rational, logical approach, and is quite easy, I think, to understand. And the other way it manifests is, well, that's a little bit more mysterious. And what we should understand is that man doesn't have the answers to all the questions, but we're getting better and better at understanding our environment and the world, and we now have sciences such as quantum physics that have really gone a long way in helping us understand a lot about these mysteries. However, I think we'd be very naive to think or pretend that we know everything there is in the universe. Those things that were once thought supernatural, well, now we know they're natural. And in my view, there is no supernatural. Nature controls everything. Okay, so we don't understand everything about the world, and we probably never will do. But there are some logical and rational things that we can look into to understand why ritual and ceremony work. So when we want to make some changes in this world, the first thing we have to do is to define very clearly the outcome, a goal. Now, having a goal in life is always a very good thing. Now, I'm pretty sure there's not many successful people that have just drifted through life. So defining that goal in the first place is a very big step towards achieving the desired result. And often the work is done by utilising some elaborate ceremonies, and these ceremonies serve to reinforce and imprint the desired result into the subconscious mind. And I'm sure you can say that the more often you reinforce this desire, the more driven you will be towards the goal. So that's one way I rationalize the subject. It's simply programming the mind to work towards the desired goal. But then that's only one aspect of this whole thing. Now the other is far more mysterious in its workings. It just so happens, as I'm sure you know, that the mind is one of those things that does not belong to the physical, just like emotions. Thought does not belong in the material, it's part of the spiritual, and so the mind is the gateway to the spiritual realm. And the spiritual realm is where we can connect to that great balancing force of nature, and it's nature that controls everything. Now, throughout mankind's existence, we have chosen to personify nature by looking at various aspects and bringing them together to create various deities and nature spirits. But ultimately, all of these are just personifications of nature itself. So when we're performing these ceremonies and rituals, we're not just reinforcing things in our mind and driving ourselves towards a goal, but we are interacting with currently unknown aspects of the human psyche. Now, it should go without saying that man is not alone in the spiritual realm, and there are many things that happen that currently we cannot explain. And so sometimes things just seem so very coincidental that I was just contemplating on that last night, and now this has happened. And when I say, and this has just happened, I don't mean that, well, last night I was contemplating and dreaming about being the head of a huge organisation and having all the power and money of my dreams. And today I open the paper and see my name in there, and it says I was left this massive organisation in a will by a great uncle or something like that. That's not the way it works. I think it can be better explained more as being thrown a lifeline or a helping hand. So, you may have dreamt about all this riches and whatever, but usually what'll happen is that an idea will come out, and it'll be such an obvious idea that will help you out of this problem or whatever situation it was that you were trying to resolve. And this idea will be so obvious to you now that you'll think to yourself, well, I spent months trying to work through this. How come I didn't see this before? And then the light goes on and you realise that this is very coincidental. And then other times it's just like you seem to have had a phenomenal stroke of luck that happened to get you something. And you think, well, normally I'm the unluckiest guy on earth, but looks like my luck's changing. So, as I say, you won't be given the world on a string, but you may be given a helping hand, some information, some ideas, some insight, or a change in fortune that guides you along the path. Generally, there's still a lot of work to do to get to your desired goal, but having a direction and a helping hand pointing you in the direction you should go seems to be a very useful and desirable thing to me. So with that, I'll leave you in your enchanted realm, and I'll ask that if you liked today's episode, then give us a thumbs up, and if you're not already, then subscribe by hitting the button. Apparently it's down below, so subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you again on the next one.